Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Country and alternative. Big tie, I think, for that one. Not my favorite.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of either of that.
But Gomez, English indie rock. Gomez, the group Gomez. Las Vegas Dealer. Yeah, very obscure.
Did you hear any of these? Did you have to listen?
I listened to a few. I did not listen to this one, but the next one I did. Las Vegas with the Lights Out by Geggy Ta, and that one is a jazz alternative rock.
Huh.
And I'm gonna somebody's gonna call me on this one. I'm gonna risk and say a little bit ska, little ska there, a little jazz. If you put ska and jazz together,
yeah.
But Las Vegas with the Lights Out. That was pretty much it for alternative that were specifically Vegas. And please, all the listeners, we'd love to get this intel. All this information about Vegas and get it right. So please send us anything that you've heard, and I'll definitely include it. In the rock area, not heavy metal, just rock.
Yeah.
There's a difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There are different, varieties of it.
Okay.
In the same way, even if you look at country music, there's bluegrass, and there's some of the, and then you get into somebody like Taylor Swift. I don't know what the hell that is.
They tag her as country.
Is that
they
just
actually
she has that
tag
southern
country and pop?
Yeah, I would say she's pop. To me, it's shit. But that's my way of looking at things.
Right. Now,
she's a nice girl. I understand.
Now, all heavy metal is rock, but not all rock is heavy metal.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's not Boolean logic.
Yeah. Now you look at my son. Gio. He doesn't like hard rock but he likes the metal. Yes. And the blacker versions of metal. And I told him, I said, well, when I was growing up, but they didn't really, they had metal. They had like Black Sabbath or, Iron Maiden, even Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I think of Led Zeppelin being more hard rock than really metal as we've come to know it. But that kind of genre has evolved or mutated maybe. So there's some little splinter bands also or groups. They even have a thing called pirate rock. Or pirate metal.
Pirate metal.
Yes, and it's just like, okay, well, aren't you kind of dividing things up a little bit?
I think so.
A bit much.
Yeah, splitting hairs. Yeah. And they've started the how video games and rock and roll are corrupting our children again.
Again.
Yeah. Can you? I mean, look at Ozzy Osbourne now.
Yeah.
And is there any worry that he's corrupting our children? Not so much. But remember that back in the day?
Yes.
Tipper Gore. Remember Tipper Gore?
Yes.
She'd get on there with the Bible in one hand and the video games in the other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was already too late then because that was
But under the rock category, Vegas tunes, Vegas Two Times by the Stereophonics, Welsh rock.
Wow.
Vegas Two Times, Stereophonics. And secondly, in the rock category, I found Heaven or Las Vegas by the Cocteau Twins, Scottish rock. They are also categorized under ethereal wave and dream pop. We're old, John.
Oh,
I'm out.
Well, they even have that genre, stoner rock.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, and there's a band, Earthless. I saw Earthless last year at Psycho Las Vegas.
Okay.
And they were great. I mean, they were almost all instrumental. But my understanding is they're out of San Diego, is that they really don't like to be called that because they're not stoners. We drink a lot. But it doesn't. I said, yeah, but that doesn't matter. It's just that it's good music for people to get stoned to or just kind of hang back and listen to.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess stoner is... stoner to me... God, stoner to me was the kids in grade school and high school wearing black, sitting under the trees just outside the chain link fence.
Yeah,
that was a stoner.
Yeah.
And then everybody wearing black turned into the thespians, the theater kids.
Yeah.
And then it was back when it was easy. It was jock, stoner,
nerds?
brain.
They had nerds?
No, brain. It was brains. It was brains, jocks, stoners. And theater, yeah.
You see, now when I was in high school, we didn't have nerds. They didn't call them. They were geeks.
We didn't have nerds. I believe so.
We used the term geeks back then. Yeah, they were geeks because we didn't have computers or anything. But
motorheads. We had motorheads.
You had motorheads.
Yeah. But okay, country. John's favorite one.
Oh yeah.
We have quite a few. Country is actually pretty well represented. I chose the big three. Big in Vegas. Buck Owens. Buck Owens.
I know Buck. I know the name.
Old Buck.
Is he still alive?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Buck Owens from Hee Haw fame.
Yeah.
We're showing our age.
Yeah.
I hope somebody's listening that actually saw Hee Haw. Then we go to Sin City Same as AC/DC.
Yeah, I don't think it's a cover of that song.
I don't think so. Miss Emmylou Harris did Sin City.
Okay, she did.
Yes, and it was specifically about Las Vegas. And then lastly, we're going to jump a little bit more contemporary. Faith Hill did Let's Go to Vegas. That's pretty common one. They haven't ruined that on The Voice yet, but I'm sure they will. And then we're going to jump over to pop with Vegas in song. We have Vegas by Sarah Bareilles. Do you know Sarah?
No.
I've actually met Sarah.
Is she nice?
Yeah. Well, I mean, met her to say hello.
Yeah, she's a real person, right? She's not a brand like Katy Perry.
No, Sarah is she's a lovely singer. But I met her during we call them a grip and grin. It's just a Hollywood style red carpet thing.
Yeah.
And I was shooting that. I get to meet a lot of celebrities that way. It's a lot of fun actually. Waking Up in Vegas, Katy Perry.
Oh, is that right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, my crew just shot a Katy Perry themed thing when she was here over at the where was she? T-Mobile, and it was a Katy Perry themed party, and man, a lot of pink. A lot of Katy, a lot of pink. It was crazy.
Did you see that there was I guess she's a judge on the new, I don't know, was it American Idol? Or
I've not seen the lineup for the new one.
Yes, but anyhow, she's a judge on one of those contests, and there was a guy who gets the award for Wanker of the Week. He was some 20-year-old guy, and she kissed him.
Do we have a weekly wanker?
No, well, we have now. I'm like, this guy is going to be the weekly wanker every week.
Got it.
All right. So anyhow, he was 20 years old, and he said he had never been kissed.
How old?
20.
20.
So she kisses him right on the lips.
Oh, yeah.
And then later on, he said that he didn't like that because he was saving it.
Okay.
For his first relationship.
Oh, well, okay
really?
then.
And I thought, okay, how many guys? Katy Perry kisses you on the lips, and I didn't like it. Yeah. Well, dude, wanker of the week.
Right. Oh my gosh. Take what you can get there, buddy. Take it from Katy. Going to Vegas, Jimmy Ray. Do you know Jimmy Ray? I wasn't familiar with Jimmy Ray.
No.
Jesus in Vegas. Chubbawamba.
There is Jesus in Vegas?
Jesus in Vegas by Chubbawamba. Chubbawamba, I thought they were one-hit wonder, but I'm going to need to get this Jesus in Vegas and see what's going on. And Queen of Vegas, B-52s.
Oh, yeah.
And lastly, in Vegas represented songs, hip-hop.
Okay.
Not a lot there either. Las Vegas by ATM. Alone in Vegas by Pusha T. And I'm in Las Vegas, bitch.
I like that.
By LMFAO. And the lead singer, of course, is Red Foo.
Yeah.
He is the the grandson of Motown legend Barry Gordy Jr.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But I'm in Las Vegas, bitch. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna use that as our tag song.
When years ago when I left the hotel, I was one of these days, maybe we talked about maybe writing them down. This was before they had podcasts, so we couldn't talk about it. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to badmouth any celebrities or anybody that we did. No, I'm only going to say if they did something good.
Yeah.
They were nice. Hey, this, BB King gave me $100. So he was a good guy. Anything that we had that was positive. But they're back saying, fuck them. But then I started thinking about it. I said, hell with that.
Yeah.
And our boss, Nicole. Now Nicole was she was in a really difficult situation because we were getting porked in the ass by the guests and we were getting it on the other end by the management, and poor Nicole was in the middle because she was management but she was one of us. So she was, and we would get mad at her because she was kind of the kill the messenger. But my mother had an expression about something, goes, they wouldn't say shit if they had a mouthful. And Nicole, I kind of think, was like that. She wouldn't badmouth anybody.
Yeah.
But one celebrity she did.
Ooh.
Tony Bennett.
No.
Yeah, she said when she worked at Caesars, she had to deal with him. And she said he was a horrible, horrible man.
Really?
Yeah. And she looked, make sure no one said, what an asshole.
I watched, I wanted to see, I'm actually a great fan of Amy Winehouse.
Yeah. She was a marvelous singer.
She was brilliant. You know, I mean, she just couldn't hold it together. But and her documentary on Netflix is amazing, tragic. But she did a duet with Tony Bennett, relatively famous, and I watched the behind the scenes, and you know, he's earned it. But he also has, I mean, he absolutely is bought into being Tony Bennett. Yeah. He does seem a little, haughty, I think. But again, he's earned it. He's Tony Bennett. Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, she told me that. Yeah, she told me. I thought it's interesting because he plays here a lot, or he did. Yeah. Usually, particularly when it was at the Desert Inn, he would play there. And we were talking about the city, and I thought, well, it was ironic that his big song about a city is San Francisco.
Yes.
Which my hometown. So he kind of was that honorary mayor forever of San Francisco.
It's funny. I don't badmouth any of the celebrities. I had some wonderful. I mean, we've talked about the truth about celebrities. You know, the Jean-Claude Van Damme and Kenny Stabler. I was going to say Kenny Stabler.
It's probably true about Kenny Stabler too.
Yeah, that wonderful country singer Kenny Stabler. Kenny.
He's not on the list either. Huh?
Right. Along with Anita Baker in the Supreme Court.
That's
right. Kenny Rogers.
Bing Troyer. Cut him in
but they're true. They're true stories. True. We lived them with these celebrities. But I tell you, there was one celebrity who was unpleasant, and pissy even, and of all people, and he's no longer with us, and tragically passed away. Bill Paxton. And again, I'm not bad mouthing him, but he was mean. He was just, and it might have been a bad day, but I was assisting him with something. I can't remember what it was. It was a hotel issue, and the poor bellman came up and said, may I take your bags? I think he actually referred to him as Mr. Paxton, and he said, keep your voice down and take my fucking bags. And I'm like, And it didn't get any better from that point. I left him, and he had no bad words for me, but he had quite a few for the hotel management staff, which was not odd for the Venetian management staff because they just couldn't get their act together when it came to check-in. Bill Paxton. Now, I've had a few that are just amazing, wonderful people. I have talked about Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. I met them
they were nice too.
I met them in the elevator. They were in the
elevator.
I
was with you.
Yeah, they were fantastic. Nicolas Cage. He's as weird as you think he is. And good on him. He bought the dinosaur heads and blew all his money on all kind of goofy stuff and bankrupted himself and got right back in there. He made about 36 movies a month and all direct to DVD or stream now. He's a weird dude, but he's all right. I'm trying to think of.
You remember John Sally? He was a basketball player.
Sally,
he was a great guy.
Yeah.
I remember, he would come down to the desk sometimes. Even though he was invited guest, he could have gone there. He knew where to get something done, where to go to get something done.
Yeah.
And he was always very patient, and he would talk to people, in line. Because at that time, he was on that show, I guess the best damn sports show period. I think it was on Fox.
Right.
And he was on that show, so people recognized him, or they recognized him because he'd played basketball not that long before then. And he was always very cordial. He posed for pictures. Anyhow, I remember invited guests. They had a basketball that they wanted to have signed. They were going to auction it off for charity or something like that. And they called him and said, "Next time you're down here, would you mind signing the ball?" Well, not only didn't he mind, he just stopped what he was doing and he went down right then and there from his room to go down and sign that ball, before something came up or whatever. So good guy.
And another thing that we've talked about, but not in depth, but and again, it's not bad mouthing; it's all truth.
Yeah.
In our tenure as Las Vegas employees, we dealt with a lot of dealers. I mean, I had a lot of dealer friends. I still do. And tippers, bad tippers. Good tippers. It's just that there aren't huge stories except for the giant billionaire tippers, but celebrity bad tippers.
Yeah.
Shaq, when Shaq would come to town.
Oh yes.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I mean, Bellman would refuse to do anything.
Yeah.
And limousine drivers wouldn't take him anywhere. And he actually addressed this on one of the sportscasts. one of the sit down in either Radiocast or something, and he said, I came from poverty. I'm not going to give my money away. Oh, okay. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, terrible. And strangely enough, on the also Michael Jordan.
Oh, was that
Just
right?
a horrendous tipper.
Yeah, I remember the joke at the Venetian was when Shaquille O'Neal stayed there. He stayed at the same time that Kobe Bryant did. Was what do Shaquille O'Neal and a canoe have in common? Neither one tip. That was. Yeah.
I think that's an alteration of the original.
Yes,
But let's see. I'm trying to think of there was Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Was a wonderful personality. In fact, I came to know him actually, or meet him. I'm not going to say no. At the London Club, which was the failed high-end gambling salon over at what used to be the Aladdin. And Frank Thomas, he and Frank Thomas would gamble over
Big
there.
Hurt.
Yeah, the Big Hurt. Neither one good tippers, but both were very fun guys. So I guess they kind of got over the tipping part. But now they still had that tarnished. It was bad tipping. You need to tip when you come to Vegas. As far as non-sports, I'm trying to think of people. Usually when celebrities come here, they're in good moods.
Yeah.
Because they're performing or playing or doing what they do, and then they get to play a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas if they have a huge concert in Cleveland, there's nothing to do but have the concert and go to the hotel. Here, it's a playground. So I think they're in a better mood. The Chili Peppers.
Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yeah, they were great guys. They were great guys. They came through the Venetian and were gambling there. Flea is exactly what you think he is. He's a nut. He's a nut. I'm trying to think of more celebrities though. I met Stallone. I was able to shake his hand twice actually in Las Vegas. Once at the Venetian. He came and needed some assistance with some room service. I don't know why he came down. He came all the way down to the concierge desk to get room service. And I'm like, well, Mr. Stallone, you could have called, but I'll be glad to help you. And he said, I need something very specific, and it was a caviar thing. But then I met him again at a golf tournament at a very, very private, secluded golf establishment over on the way to Hoover Dam, strangely. And it was his tournament, and they were all different types of celebrities. And I also we saw Schwarzenegger at the desk, and I heard he was a nice guy, but I wasn't the person that helped him.
Oh,
yeah, but
we got a lot of porn stars. Remember that?
Lots of porn stars.
Yeah.
Oh,
remember that it was the real famous one, the slobby looking guy.
Oh, Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy. Thank you. Yes, Ernie looked exactly like he does.
Oh, yes, he does. Yeah, Ron Jeremy. Porn star Nina Hartley, Christy Canyon.
Yeah. There was even a midget. I always dealt with midgets. I always got them. This little midget, man, she had the biggest tits.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were. And I remember someone said, "Oh yeah," she was real fun. She was always unlike another famous one I dealt with. She was always. This one was very perky and good mood. And someone said, "Oh yeah, well, she's a midget stripper in L.A. or something." I thought, okay, well.
Yeah. See, the adult stars, they do double duty when they're here. The strip clubs here, and I've attended many of these. I didn't go because of the celebrity, but people like major porn stars will come here and dance. Because the strip clubs will pay them like dance clubs do. They will pay strippers to come there and perform or have a VIP table, just to be there. And they make some heavy money, and Las Vegas is a wonderful place to come for adult stars and dancers, and because we have such a huge conventioneer clientele, and that's one of the things they still do.
Yeah,
they save their money. They do budget flights on Southwest, and they stay at the cheapest hotel so they can eat and go to strip clubs.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's interesting what they have their money for.
An interesting story I remember with Lauren Hutton. Remember her?
I do.
Yeah.
She was here when the motorcycles were here at Guggenheim.
That's right.
Yeah.
And she got into an accident.
Yes.
Yes, a bad accident. But this was before then. And they were launching that, I think it was the We Network, which was the women's entertainment. And she was on there because she was, she's a well-known female, in the industry. And,
Right.
And, but it was interesting is how nasty apparently she was to the women that we worked with. So much to the point where one time she called, I was in the back on the phones, and they called. I heard one of our female colleagues says, "Oh shit, it's the witch again." Right. And she said, "John, you take this call. We don't want to deal with her." Oh, no. Because she was apparently incredibly nasty to the women. Oh. So I answered the phone. Yeah. And she was quite nice to me. And then I accidentally hung up on her. And I had to call her back, but she was fine. I thought, okay, she's going to bite my head off. No, so my experience with her was she was fine. Now, the women said she didn't. I thought, gee, that's interesting that it would be one. And, of course, I don't know what it was that maybe they did something to really piss her off. Yeah. I don't know that, which is or something had happened and whatever.
Yeah, but she did. She had a terrible accident when she was
here
on a motorcycle.
On a motorcycle.
And I think it was a promotional ride for the Guggenheim Museum's motorcycle exhibit.
Yes.
Dennis Hopper was still alive.
Dennis Hopper was alive, and he was here for that.
Right, and Peter Fonda.
Yes.
He came. It was
because that motorcycle was on display at the Guggenheim when they had it there. Yeah, the art of the motorcycle.
Yeah. But but like I said, I have never really had a notable or serious problem with a celebrity in Las Vegas. People always, have these horror stories of whatever. I've never experienced it. Not really. My horror stories were always with the standard patronage. Yeah. And people change when they come here. The podcaster that I often communicate with, Chris, with Faces and Aces podcast, he has an interesting and quite a nice end sign off, and he talks about being positive in Vegas, and it's well said, well stated. I don't know if it's possible. As far as the positivity, if you work in Vegas, if you are a traveler and an oft returning traveler, you can have a wonderful time. Yeah. Vegas is a great place. But if you work here, it changes. The game table changes. Yep. The perception changes, and you have to, and I've often said it, you have to learn to live here. It's easy to visit, but you got to learn to live here. I applaud Chris for his statements at the end there. But again, when you've worked here, your rose-colored glasses, turn a little bit darker. But I miss it sometimes. I don't know. It's really strange for me to say that because I was last out. Do you miss it at all? Do you miss it all?
I would go back.
Not us. I know we all miss ourselves. But
I would go back for a day, knowing that. It was nice the last 2 weeks I was there because if you remember, it was kind of like a standing thing. Okay. Any complaints, send them whoever's already given notice. Right. Because we don't give a shit. Right? I mean, we don't have any stress on us. We got a smile on our face because we're out of here next week. Uh-huh. So let, any problem, I did it. Because, oh shit, I forgot to make that reservation. No, did you just say I did? What are they going to do to me? Fire me? I'm out of here next week. Right. So it was kind of a relief to know that. I wouldn't mind putting the band back together for like one, I don't know anything about the city. I mean, like I do now, right? Yeah. Oh, what steakhouse should I go to? I can go to Smith and Molensky. Oh shit, that's right, they closed, huh?
Right. Yeah, it would take very little research, I think, to get back in the game. You're right, though. I think getting the band or the desk back together for a night, that would be very interesting.
What I wish I could do, I wish I could go back and have recorded some of those interactions that we had with guests, because as later on when I left and went to grad school, and I had I'd already been a teacher for a long time, but I really got into studying applied linguistics, especially sociolinguistics, and because we dealt with so many people from other parts of the country, other parts of the world, how the interactions went. It was just very interesting to look at it in terms of communication. So often, as you know, we were not allowed to say no, even though that would have been the best thing to say. Mm-hmm. Can I get tickets for the O show tonight? No, they're sold out. But we couldn't say that. We had to say, well, I'm sorry, but it's fully booked for the next 90 days. And then they'll say, well, that's okay. I'll be here on Tuesday. Well, that kind of falls in that 90-day window since it's 2 days away.
I remember that guy.
We got this. So it was interesting to me how people would rephrase the question, hoping that somehow the content of the answer changed. You know, like, can I get tickets to CO? Well, I'm sorry, but it's fully booked for the next 90 days. Can I get tickets to O tomorrow? It's like, I'll change the question and maybe the answer will change.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
but yeah.
I think and for me, it was a practice in extremes. It was usually I had wonderful people that were so nice, and you saw the glee in their eyes. They're here for the first time, and oh my gosh, and they weren't devastated by the fact that it was sold out for 90 days, nor did they try to fool me and try to get tickets anyway. And so we helped them, and equally so we got the guys that were incensed that we couldn't do anything for them.
Yeah.
That things, and again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the show. You need to prepare to come here. You need to prepare for any of your vacations, of course, but you need to prepare to come here because things are sold out. Things are very difficult to get into. Because of the foodie culture that we're enjoying right now, restaurants are damn difficult to get into. But you're absolutely right. And linguistically speaking, that is so strange. And now I think because you and I and all of our colleagues have already dealt with it, we could laugh.
Yeah.
We could spend a couple of nights and just laugh at these people, how they try to rephrase things, and suddenly the answer would be different.
Yeah, and there are different, even among native English speakers of different countries,
right?
Where I came to realize, I thought, wow. Because when I lived in Japan, I worked with teachers from all countries. From Canada, they were from England,
right?
They were from New Zealand and Australia and all over. So, and I kind of realized that for example, we talk about this being the first floor, and then you go up one level and it's the second floor. Right. Well, not all countries describe things that way. This is the ground floor. And then what we call the second floor in other countries is the first floor.
Yeah.
So knowing that in advance, when you're dealing with somebody who comes to the desk and maybe they are from a foreign country, and you have to think about, what are they going to understand?
Right.
Right. Don't say it's on the second floor because they think they're going to go to the third floor, what we would call the third floor. Mm-hmm. So, those types of communication issues were interesting. And I'd mentioned last time that it seemed to me that maybe because Las Vegas is so overwhelming, it is, it's the lights are bright, the sounds, the size. As we mentioned earlier, that it's the distances between places. It seems closer than it's right across the street. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but the blocks here are really, really long.
Right, right.
That people get frustrated by that. They're out of their element, and there's nothing familiar for them to. I mean, they really are kind of like a child.
Yeah,
they could become lost like that, and then they lash out at.
Yeah, I find it funny though that Las Vegas it doesn't hold license to having a lot of walking involved. Yeah. I've walked around London, I've walked around Paris, I've walked and it's a lot of walking. Yeah. The Louvre is a giant museum, and I just don't understand why people were so surprised by that. Nor was I. Well, I guess I understand more so how they were surprised by the extreme weather. It's either boiling or it's freezing to them.
Yeah.
Right now, it's actually we get about a 2 to 3 week window of nice, and then it goes hot again. But I don't know. People just don't research much anymore when they go. But Vegas is still hey, let's go to Vegas. And it still accommodates most people when they do that. But with pool season coming, it's a whole different crowd.
Yep, it'll be a different crowd. And that was the other thing the city was always good at, was that they knew that, in the summer, you had people traveling because they're on vacation. Right. So yeah, they may have their kids or not, but whatever, there is that demographic. Sure. I used to call it the fanny pack season. Right. Right. And then we had but when people are traveling like that, the conventions go down because they know that people are traveling, they got vacation plans. Wherever they're going, we're not going to schedule our conventions in the summer, especially Las Vegas because it is hot. Right. We'll have those in the fall and in the winter, spring, whatever. Mm-hmm. So then when the summer travelers start to go away, then here come the conventions again. And then even around Christmas time, when the shows go on hiatus and a lot of people stay home, well, we have foreign visitors come. Yeah. Their schedules aren't that way. Yeah. So.
Well, John, this was fun. You're very knowledgeable about the music scene and what you like, and it's always great to talk to you about Las Vegas. John and I love doing the Pod Bay Door, and we're going to continue to try to produce some interesting shows so you guys can learn some things you never know. But still having the T-shirt giveaway and or mouse pads. If you'd like to get one of those, go to iTunes or Podbean and give us a 5-star review if you think we have earned it, and we will get you out one of those T-shirts or mouse pads. We're on. If you stay to the end, if you haven't done so, you can get all of our social network information: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and so on. Our blog. John just wrote a really interesting article on the blog, and that's the podbaydoor.wordpress.com. You can also go to the podbaydoor.com and connect to any of our social networking sites, but check out that article, and we'd love to see some comments about that. Coming up, we're going to talk about cheating, and we also I'm going to talk to a young lady that does massages on the fly, chair massages for all the poker players. I thought that would be interesting to talk to her about that. But please get us all your questions. And if you have anything involving today's musical discussion, I would love to hear that. And we can have a secondary show about that, because I'm sure there's more. I've missed quite a few.
Oh, yeah.
And I know there must be more metal Vegas songs.
Well, I mean, it's because I tend to listen to that, a lot of the pop stuff I don't know. I know I've heard the names, but I don't really listen to it. So.
But I'm going to leave everybody with a quote that I heard. I was watching a documentary series on Netflix, as I often do, and it was from a female Korean monk, and she said, "Live life without comparison and ego."
Nice.
I thought that was wonderful. So for John, this is Jamey. We will see you next week. Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.